The boat engine hummed a steady rhythm as we sliced through the turquoise waters of the Caribbean Sea. The sun beat down, reflecting off the waves, creating a dazzling display of light. Our destination, Santa Cruz del Islote, a place that defied conventional understanding of space and community. This island, barely the size of 2 football fields, a mere speck in the vastness of the ocean, is home to around 500 people, a vibrant community packed onto a tiny piece of land, making it, by some measures, the most densely populated island on Earth. A statistic that both intrigued and slightly overwhelmed me. I was here to spend 24 hours, to immerse myself in their world, to see what life is like when personal space is a luxury no one has, when every corner is shared and privacy is a distant dream. My mind raced with images of chaos and struggle, of constant noise and a lack of solitude, but I wanted to see the reality behind the statistics, to understand how a community could thrive in such seemingly impossible conditions. As the island appeared, a smudge on the horizon that grew steadily larger, a cluster of bright houses rising straight from the sea, a kaleidoscope of colors against the blue backdrop. It felt like entering another world, a place where the rules of space and privacy simply didn't apply. There are no beaches, no sandy shores to soften the transition between land and sea, just docks and walls where the waves lap, a constant reminder of the island's precarious position. From afar, it looks like a single, sprawling structure, a unified mass of buildings clinging to the small island painted in blue, yellow and pink, a vibrant splash of color that somehow felt both chaotic and harmonious. Up close you see the details, the individual lives woven into the fabric of the island, satellite dishes clinging to walls, laundry lines strung between houses, children peering from windows, their eyes full of curiosity. It was just after midday, the sun was high, casting a bright light on the island, and my 24 hours had officially begun. I stepped off the boat, onto the weathered wooden planks of the dock, feeling both apprehensive and curious, a mix of excitement and trepidation swirling within me. My guide, Johnny, a local resident with a warm smile, greeted me. "It's different," he said, his eyes twinkling, "but you'll see, it has its own magic. You just have to feel it." The boat nudged the pier, a gentle bump that signaled my arrival, and the island's sounds and smells washed over me. The chatter of voices, the rhythmic clang of metal, the salty tang of the sea air mixed with the aroma of cooking food. I took my first step into the most crowded place on Earth, a step into a world unlike any I had ever experienced. The open ocean behind me felt like a memory, a vast expanse of freedom that I was temporarily leaving behind. Ahead was a world built on closeness, a labyrinth of narrow passages and shared spaces. I wondered, as I looked around at the tightly packed houses and the bustling activity, how do people live when every inch is shared, when there's no escape from the constant presence of others? What does community mean when privacy is impossible, when every aspect of life is lived in the open? I was about to find out, one crowded moment at a time, as I navigated the narrow walkways and immersed myself in the daily life of Santa Cruz del Islote. The adventure had begun, and I was ready to explore the unique world of this tiny, densely populated island. The moment I landed on Santa Cruz del Islote, I was immediately engulfed by a sensory storm. A complete and utter immersion into a world unlike any I had ever experienced. The air itself tasted of salt, mingled with the unmistakable aroma of fried fish wafting from every corner, layered with the vibrant sounds of music, the infectious joy of laughter, and the ever-present comforting hum of life that seemed to vibrate through the very ground beneath my feet. There's no gentle entry, no easing into the experience. The pier leads directly and unapologetically straight into the beating heart of the community. The streets, if you can even call them that, are more like narrow paths, barely wide enough for 2 people to pass comfortably, twisting and turning between houses painted in a riot of vibrant, sun-faded colors that tell a story of time and resilience. Murals depicting fantastical sea creatures and portraits of local heroes proudly cover the walls, adding another layer to the island's rich tapestry. It feels less like a conventional town, and much more like a single, breathing, living organism, every corridor and open space pulsing with an almost overwhelming sense of activity. I couldn't help but feel conspicuous, my pale skin and somewhat awkward movements immediately marking me as an outsider, a visitor in their close-knit world. But the stares I received were more curious than hostile, often softened by a friendly nod or a quiet, respectful buenas. Life flowed around me in a constant, mesmerizing current. A woman expertly balancing a mountain of laundry on her head, weathered men patiently mending their fishing nets, preparing for the next day's catch, and packs of children darting past with boundless energy and playful shouts. The boundaries between public and private spaces seem to blur and almost completely disappear. A living room with all its intimate details is as open and public as the bustling path just outside the doorway. We eventually passed through what could be considered the island's main plaza, a surprisingly tiny square marked by a simple cross and a scattering of weathered benches, serving as the central gathering place and the very heart of island life. Teenagers plugged into their phones, watched videos with rapt attention, while an elderly man sought relief from the heat, slowly fanning himself with a newspaper, and everywhere I looked, people simply existed in constant company, their lives intertwined and inseparable. My preconceived idea of chaos slowly began to fade, replaced by a growing sense of a complex yet harmonious communal choreography. Overwhelming, without a doubt, but also undeniably and strangely compelling, drawing me deeper into its intricate web. Here, on this tiny island, every single moment is shared, a collective experience, and against all odds, against all logic, it somehow beautifully works. Johnny led me to Marisol's house, where I'd spend the night. We ducked through passageways under washing lines into a sky-blue two-story home. The front door was open, as all doors seemed to be. Standing in the heart of the island, surrounded by the vibrant community, I turned to Johnny, a local resident. Johnny, what makes life on Santa Cruz del Islote so unique?
Johnny smiles, looking around at his neighbors. Here, everyone knows each other. We share everything. Food, stories, even our struggles. It's crowded, yes, but it feels like one big family.
Marisol greeted me with a warm hug and cool water. 7 people lived here, her family, all sharing 2 small rooms. We make it work. We are close, she said, matter of fact. Every inch of the island is used. The school, a restaurant, tiny shops, and improvised spaces. A patch of concrete is a football pitch by day, a social club by night. Rooftops dry fish, collect rainwater, or catch a breeze. Walkways double as living rooms, repair shops and playgrounds. Life spills out of every doorway, filling every space. On Santa Cruz, the island itself is the home. Walking with Johnny, I met people, each encounter a glimpse into the heart of this unique community, who saw their crowded world not as a burden, not as a constraint, but as a blessing, a source of connection and shared experience. Juvenile, an elderly fisherman, his hands bearing the marks of years spent at sea, mended his net and smiled. Crowded, this is company, it's life. I'd be lonely on a big farm with no one around to share the day. Here, help is always close, a constant presence in the tightly woven fabric of their lives. If my wife is sick, I shout, a neighbor comes without hesitation, ready to assist. The closeness is a safety net, a comforting assurance that you're never truly alone. A web of connection that's immediate and real, a living, breathing network of support. Diana, a young mother, bounced her baby on her knee, her eyes reflecting the warmth of the community around her. The kids have little space inside our homes, but the whole island is their playground, an endless expanse of adventure and discovery. Everyone is an auntie or uncle, a guardian, a friend. If her son wanders, someone brings him back, guiding him safely through the labyrinthine streets. Communal parenting is the norm, a shared responsibility that eases the burdens of raising a child. These conversations revealed a theme, a common thread woven through their daily lives. People here don't dwell on what they lack, on the material possessions they might not have. They focus on what they have, on the richness of their relationships and the strength of their community. A resilient, sharing community, bound together by mutual support and unwavering generosity. Food, childcare, resources of all kinds, even electricity are shared, a testament to their spirit of collaboration. When a boat brings a good catch, a bounty from the sea, fish are divided among families, ensuring that everyone has enough. When a generator runs out, plunging homes into darkness, an extension cord appears, snaking its way between houses, sharing precious power. The lack of space has bred a culture of deep interdependence, a reliance on each other that strengthens their bonds. It's not hardship, it's normal. It's simply the way things are, the rhythm of their lives. The islanders know their life is unique, a world apart from the sprawling cities and isolated suburbs, but they wouldn't trade it, not for all the space in the world. Their world is built on trust, cooperation, and constant contact, a tapestry woven with shared experiences. Here, isolation is impossible, a foreign concept in this tightly knit community. and so is loneliness, banished by the constant presence of neighbors and friends. The closeness that outsiders might fear, the perceived lack of privacy, is for them a source of strength, a wellspring of resilience and mutual support. On Santa Cruz, everyone is in it together, sharing the joys and burdens of island life. And that makes all the difference, transforming a potentially difficult environment into a thriving, vibrant community. Life here is a masterclass in adaptation. A young man works out in a tiny alley, chickens pecking nearby. His gym is wherever there's space. Kitchens are corners, meals are cooked early or late to avoid the heat. The smell of arepas and fish stew drifts through the air, a communal menu. Food is shared, reinforcing bonds. At night, hammocks fill living rooms. By day, they're packed away. Beds are shared, privacy is rare, but comfort comes from closeness. Rooftop gardens grow herbs in plastic bottles. A barber shop is a single chair in an alley. A woman runs a cinema from her window, kids watching cartoons outside. Every challenge sparks a creative solution. The island's limitations have bred ingenuity and cooperation. Here, necessity truly is the mother of invention. For all its self-sufficiency, the island relies on the mainland for survival. Fresh water arrives by boat, often delivered by the Navy and stored in communal tanks. When deliveries are delayed, water must be bought, an expensive strain. Electricity comes from generators and more recently solar panels gifted by outsiders. Power is precious, never taken for granted. Food, fuel, and supplies all arrive by boat, their cost higher than on the mainland. The arrival of supply boats is an event, drawing crowds to the pier. The sea is both provider and barrier, connecting and isolating the island. Community leaders coordinate deliveries and manage resources with skill. The balance is delicate. Total independence is impossible, but so is total dependence. The island's survival is a dance between self-reliance and outside support. Organization and cooperation keep everything running. It's a fragile but functional lifeline. Fishing is the island's heartbeat. Most men are fishermen, heading out before dawn to the reefs and open sea. Their work is hard, dangerous, and central to their identity. The afternoon return of the boats is a daily ritual. Fish for the family, the rest sold to middlemen. The island's economy rises and falls with the tide. Processing the catch is a family affair. Everyone helps, everyone learns. Children grow up knowing the sea, learning to fish, mend nets, and read the weather. Boys become fishermen, girls manage the household economy. The sea is respected, its moods understood. Environmental changes, declining fish stocks, coral bleaching, are real threats. The island's future is tied to the health of the ocean. Here, the sea is both livelihood and legacy. Its rhythms shape every life. As evening falls, the island transforms, the heat fades, music rises, and people gather in the narrow paths. Laughter and conversation echo through the corridors. I joined a dominoes game, tiles slammed, beer passed, fish shared. I was welcomed, outsider or not. The plaza became a dance floor, couples moving with joyful abandon. Children darted through the crowd, energy unending. This wasn't a celebration of an event, but of life itself. The closeness that might seem suffocating is the foundation of happiness here. Proximity becomes a party. They have little in material wealth but are rich in community. Here, connection is strength and pleasure. They've turned togetherness into joy. At sunset, I found a quiet rooftop, the island glowing behind me. I'd come expecting chaos but found structure, joy, and resilience. The people of Santa Cruz del Islote have shaped their world into a place of profound community. They've turned potential conflict into sharing and support. The lack of space is irrelevant compared to the strength of their bonds. As dawn broke, my time was up. I left, looking back at a place that no longer seemed like an anomaly, but a home. The residents waved, open and friendly as ever. I felt a pang of envy. In a world obsessed with space and privacy, what have we lost? Could you thrive in a world without walls? On this tiny island, I saw what's possible when community comes first. The question lingers, what do we really need to be happy?